about GIFs. It's a very short presentation, but there is way more to see and to explore. So if anyone is interested in anything practical, kind of more practical exercises, tutorials, we have all of this. But for now, let's get started with a little bit of intro. Why GIFs? Why is it something that it's nice for various audiences of cultural heritage collections, and what kind of engagement can you get from working with GIFs? Can you see my screen?
Yeah, but we can't see the presentation yet. Just
and now?
Yeah, now we can.
There's a tiny little delay.
Yeah,
but,
that's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. So for a little intro, I work for Europeana. It's Europe's platform for cultural heritage. And we provide digital access to content from over 3,500 cultural heritage institutions across Europe. So libraries, museums, archives. And the content we give access to is art, photos, books, maps, films, 3D and more. So a lot of different things. There are over 50 million of objects. And we also curate those objects, so in form of exhibitions, blogs, galleries. So when you work with the collections, of course, more nerdy and librarian types, of course, know that it's data and probably academia, maybe some part of creatives will find a way to work with it. But for most of people, it's just number of objects and they don't see a way they could interact with them. And we try to find different ways to make those objects interesting, giving a little bit of context, giving a little bit of activity. So we do a number of things. We do coloring books, we do events, we do contests. And one of the things we do for a couple of years already is Give It Up. So it's an annual gift-making competition for the most creative reuse of digitized cultural heritage material. It's every year in October. So if you get into gift-making now, you can very well submit your gifts this year. So we run it in cooperation with other digital libraries and also museums and institutes across the globe, just to give people choice. And also we try to get new content partners every year to inspire people to discover new content and also like see something that they haven't seen and yeah, get creative. The website is giveitup.net, and there you'll find the entries, the link to our Giphy channel, which is a very important tool. I'll talk about it later. And also a number of tutorials and selected collections, which are openly licensed that are ready to use for gift making. And why GIFs? So GIF is the language of the internet. It's the second most popular graphic format after JPEG, so the normal image. It's very easily shareable online on all kinds of websites. It can be embedded, but also in all kinds of communicator kind of messaging apps. So like across them, actually, it's a very easy way to communicate. It can play a variety of functions, so express emotion, explain and illustrate ideas, also comment on reality. There will be some examples in a bit. It can be used standalone as a tiny little story of a few seconds, which is great for the current attention span of internet users. But it also can illustrate a longer narrative in the situations where you need, for example, a lot of pictures, so either a long scroll or like swipe you can animate and kind of make it more efficient and easier to understand. And it's also an art form, which is great because it helps people get creative independently of their kind of art and creativity entry skill levels. Because you can have very advanced professional animators doing cool stuff, which is complicated. And you can have amateurs, first-time GIF making, also doing cool stuff because they just had a great idea and were a bit motivated. So when you create blogs, it's like mostly about informing what the pieces are about and explaining people what that is, giving context. With GIF making, it's a bit different because not necessarily the same artworks or content would be used for making GIFs. It can be something totally unknown and totally different because just kind of the game rules are different. What is cool for animating is all kinds of vehicles, series of photos when the things change. And it's also a way of looking at culture which doesn't require any expertise. And for creators, similarly to Lego animation, actually is quite a long and thorough interaction with content while animating. And some people really do complicated and beautiful stuff. For people who are receiving, so seeing the GIFs on social media, in the messaging apps, it's just GIFs entering, so cultural heritage entering their daily life along like Joey from Friends or memes. So this is something that's cool. Maybe they don't know what that is, where does it come from, although they can always click through if they are more interested. But it's like putting culture, like sneaking it alongside other stuff from pop culture and just like daily life. So yeah, encouraging, so for many animators, if they work for a studio, they will always kind of work in a similar style and similar type of content. So we heard from professional animators that they really like doing it because they don't have a lot of time for like discovering cultural heritage collections for in their free time, or they don't know how, or this is not something they do. This is kind of a motivation to see broader than kind of their work. And for first time GIF makers, so people with like absolutely no experience, who firstly don't know anything about animation, secondly they don't know anything about cultural heritage, is building digital and creative skills at the same time. And we encourage it by kind of giving a special prize category every year for people who do GIFs for the first time. So there are a few skills that people build when making GIFs. Firstly, it's searching through cultural heritage collections. So this is not something that is very easy. You need to use filters, you need to know the licenses, and we figured out that it's easier to teach people that when they have a reason to do it. Understanding licensing. So every year, no matter how hard we tried, we would get entries which are not eligible for the contest because in copyright material is being used, or and just the collections, we consider it kind of commercial use because there is like a price. So not non-commercial collections, and we get back to people to explain what the issue was and give them a chance to fix it. And a lot of people fix it, so they really have a chance to learn from their own mistakes. It's learning the basics of animation, and it can be just starting with 2 images, like a little color switch, little element moving, to we also offer online master classes with like multi-step animation, cleaning the background, and people can follow it as well and make pretty advanced artworks out of it. It's also about promoting one's work, which as someone active on social media and new creator is quite important, because this is something that some people need to live from, and also for their own kind of professional success. It's nice to know how to put out your work on social media. And last year, all this knowledge we put in one thing, which we call Gift Making Academy. It's an email course in which you receive a series of emails explaining step by step, from finding an image to publishing it, different gift making techniques and how to do it from the start, from the beginning till the submission. And why is it important? There are different audiences which we engage at the same time. So of course, creatives, educators, and students like it as a tool to introduce students to culture. So-called, I don't like this term, but I'm using it here, general public. So people who are not really related to cultural heritage or gift making, but they are on Giphy, or they are on Giphy and they just kind of consume this content. And of course, cultural heritage institutions who, for some of them, of course, they digitize and they know what to do with their collections. Some institutions digitize because there's a national program, they are asked to do it, and they don't really know, they need inspiration. So this is a way to provide this kind of inspiration to them in a simple way. And yeah, as you see, we get some nice feedback. People are really excited every October, and like the social media is a happy place when the Give It Up happens. The hashtag is always Give It Up and the year. So if you feel like following, this year it will be Give It Up 2022. What we also do is we try to use expertise and enthusiasm of our community to inspire and help the others. So the gallery is created by the members of our communities with giftable content. We also asked creators kind of step by step behind the scenes to write a behind the scenes blog about how they create their Give It Up entries and how they work. Some of them explain they make a storyboard, some just get super inspired by the content and further don't think about it. Some really write scenarios. It's all very interesting to see. And also about the software they use and the way they create gifts. What is really good about gift making is the visibility. So I really recommend everyone who wants to do it to start a Giphy channel. As you can see in the lower left corner, the views on Giphy are in billions, which is amazing. Those gifts, you have like gift keyboards and stuff, so they are shared everywhere. It's possible to be featured on the homepage. So with this like little thermometer, it's actually a postcard from World War I, from one of our UGC projects. And for Amour, so love in French, it's like it was like a top hit during the pandemic, and like people were sending it to each other all the time. Giphy also helps with kind of finding your niche and producing the content that is useful. So they are like tailored for you, as you see in the upper right corner. So kind of the gifts, the themes that are suitable for your account and trending. There are general trending searches, which are usually emotions and like hello, goodbye, love. And there are also content gaps. So this is what you see there. So like you can always see whether something your content is related to fits there while producing. Or what I also do from time to time is I check those and I do like a round of tagging of the already existing content on our Giphy so that it can get the views boosted. What also exists there is like social media marketing calendar. So I put a little screenshot to give you an idea what kind of days are there. So some of them are like real holidays, some of them are like silly, like popcorn day, but there is always something to work towards and produce the content about. And my advice would be to have it ready kind of 3 days before, tag it, post it, and then it goes kind of up and on the day itself. And there is also a good thing about it that if you do stuff for like holidays and stuff, it will perform well every year. So we have like funny holiday pictures from like audiovisual archives. We have stuff for like Easter with old school Swedish postcards, and it kind of every year it performs again. So like this, you can predict a bit your performance. And as I said, we have practical tutorials. We run a digital storytelling festival during which there was like a really practical workshop with practical exercises of 1 hour. You can watch it back if you want. If anyone is interested in being a content partner or getting involved, you are welcome to drop me a line. And if there are any questions now, I'm very happy to answer.